Exactly 10 years ago this month, Otterbein women's soccer turned in arguably its most decorated season in program history with a memorable run to the NCAA Final Four. 20 wins, 0 losses, and 4 draws, led by a lot of the women that you see here today. Over 2/3 of our starting lineup, decorated senior class from that 2010 run. We appreciate everyone joining us today. I know we would love to do this in person. 2020 has been a difficult year, but it's still great to see everyone's faces. Going around, goalkeeper Tara Carter, defenders Laura Vassbinder, Hannah Fairbanks, and Jenny Knox, midfielders Rachel Dagan, Kristen and Tara Smith, and forward Lindsay Rudabaugh. Also down there, head coach Brandon Coons. I was putting this together earlier today, and I thought part of me feels like that run just happened yesterday, and the other part of me feels like it was so long ago. I don't know who wants to start. Maybe Tara, we'll start with you. I think I saw a social media post from you recently, kind of a nostalgic post. Like, does more feel like that was yesterday or forever ago?
Some nights I still wake up thinking about like that penalty, that one I got my hand on and it still went into the net. So like maybe one day I'll get over it. We can hope.
No, you won't. You won't, because I haven't either.
It's weird. I feel like I don't remember like most of my life, but I remember everything that happened that year and really all 4 years that we were playing soccer at Otterbein together. Like I could tell you everything that happened.
Yeah.
I still tell people about it, and like I don't know if that's like a happy thing or a sad thing that I haven't done anything that cool since, but people are like, oh, tell me about yourself. I'm like, well, this one time, our team, we went to the Final Four. I don't know if you've ever done that. It's like still like the thing I always go to. I'm like, oh, I also do this for a living. I like have dogs. I have a family. Like it's always still talking about college soccer, which is, I think is cool, but.
Yeah. Anna, some people may or may not know watching this, you actually transferred in prior to your junior year. So I feel like that was a big hurdle for you. Kind of first year to second year, felt like you were probably so much more comfortable. I feel like you've kind of noted that a few times. But what was it like for you having a whole year under your belt?
That was huge. And obviously just even having the option to transfer in to I couldn't have transferred at like a better time, honestly. Like I got to come right in and all this excitement. And the first year it was just like, wow, like I'm really getting to do this. And then coming into 2010, it was like, yes, like I'm ready to do this. We're ready to win. And I was just super thankful for the opportunity.
The last game of your junior season was against the defending national champion Messiah in overtime. And then you guys come back all, strong nucleus together. What part of you, it felt like that was maybe changing in terms of like, we could win a national championship or make a run? Like, did you think you could really win it, or what were expectations coming back for your senior season, having been in the Sweet 16 the previous 2 years?
We were going to win it. Expectation. That was it.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing left for us to do was win it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we left that game too pretty upset. I felt like we, for the most part, felt like there were some situations where it didn't go our way, and I felt like we, worked really hard to get where we were, and it was like we kind of came back with a chip on our shoulder. I don't know if you guys felt that same way, but at the same time, it was like we just kind of focused one game at a time, and it was like, this is where we're at now. This is what we need to do today to get where we want to be.
I think for sure when we left that game against Messiah, it was probably the hardest game I had ever played, but it was probably one of the most enjoyable games I had ever played, even though we lost. Like, you could just feel their energy, and I think we all wanted that, and we knew that we could do it. So I think we all came back ready in 2010 to go for it.
I'm getting goosebumps already.
I remember when we won and we were about to go play Messiah, Lindsay was being interviewed after a game out on the field, and they're like, you've advanced, you're moving on. And she was like, yeah, we got to play Messiah. And you could hear that, like, we don't have a chance kind of thing. And it was just that moment where you're always a little nervous because you don't want to go there and lose 7-0. But at some point, like, you realize we can do this. We can play with this team. We could have won the game that day. Hannah had a shot late in the game that got cleared off the line with 10 minutes to go or so. And we had chances and they didn't have a lot. So I really felt comfortable we could do it.
Wasn't that the game too that, wasn't it Laura and Jenny, we all got drug tested afterwards?
Right. Oh, I've never been more dehydrated in my life.
Oh, yeah. And I remember her being like, yeah, you got to pee. I'm like, I've never been more physically exhausted in my life. Get away from me.
Couldn't you not pee? You like
I
couldn't.
didn't. I just sitting there for like an hour.
We were there for a long time.
And I'm
I
like,
remember
I'm
like
not
coaching
kidding you.
Laura. I was like, you can
You
do
only
it.
can have one bottle of water. I was like, I'm thirsty.
To
I'm
be
like,
fair, I
listen.
thought it was pretty cool that they thought they needed to drug test a bunch of us to make sure that we could have beat them for real.
Yeah, I'm like, we lost. Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Then you go over to Denison, and obviously a lot of people that follow your program know Denison's a big rival, and at the time they're kind of dominating the NCAC, we're dominating the OAC. You go over there, it was a scoreless draw. It was your first non-victory of the season, despite you guys out shooting them, probably outplaying them for the most part. I know that was a significant game and kind of shaping a lot of things towards the rest of the season. What do you remember leaving that night?
Wow, we left that game and we had a meeting that week, and I think that was kind of like the turning point of the season, and I think that really united us after that game. We had a lot of obstacles that we overcame just with our relationships within the team that I think strengthened us, and especially in our leadership, just kind of knowing the positions we needed to step up and do, and the people we needed to be in order to lead this team, to a successful season. So although that was like the least fun game of the season, not just physically, but because of, the obstacles we had, I think it really brought us to a space where us as a group here was able to lead some of the younger people and just set a tone.
I think we needed that to happen as much as it sucked as you went through it. Things had gone so well, and it was kind of like, all right, we're doing great. We're on like the right track for the season. But without that, I don't know, once we got later in the season and then in the tournament when we did go down a goal, if we would have known how to overcome it as a group. So I think having that early on and talking about it and figuring out like how to step up and who should step up and when you should, that really set us up for success in a difficult situation as we got later in the season.
And I think too, it was helpful. I know that day was really hard, but I think looking back, it was a turning point for the younger girls to kind of trust us a little bit. I know that sometimes we as a group, because we were so passionate, could be really hard on them, and I mean, really though, we were hard on each other, but it was like a lot of times that's kind of what it takes to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember leaving that game and it was just the mood from everybody was almost like we had lost, when really in all reality, it wasn't the end of the world. It was a tie, but I think that kind of just speaks to the expectation that we had going into that season.
But I do remember that game, and I remember just how hard it was, and I said and did things that I don't know, I couldn't control what I was saying on the field, and I remember coming together as a team after, we had a meeting, I think it was in the locker room or something. Was it in the locker room?
Yeah, that was back at school, wasn't it? Wasn't it back at school?
It was back. It was at when we got back, and we just had to talk through things, and I really think that set us up for success in the future. If we would have had to deal with something like that later on in the season, I don't know if it would have turned out as good for us.
Maybe it was a goalkeeper thing, but I love that pressure. I think that's when you really feel the most competitive, the most excited to be in a game.
I feel like as a team, we actually worked best under pressure. I'm glad that we knew all of that, because we needed that pressure to work up against, because that's just how we worked as a unit. So I feel like if the pressure wasn't there, it almost didn't feel like it meant as much, there wasn't as much at stake, and we wanted to win the national title. So we knew there was going to be pressure there, and that's just how we performed best, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it ever really we felt too much pressure from it. I guess to me it was more, it fueled the fire a little bit more. We never really talked about it. I don't remember ever having long conversations about, why are they disrespecting us, but it was more just we knew game time, it just added fuel to our fire. So if anything, I guess thanks to them for doing that, because it kind of pissed us off.
I know it sounds corny, but it's really one of the best moments of my life. And then obviously we knew what it meant, so it just was that much better. I just feel like when that happens, you can just kind of like take a deep breath out, and you persevere and you stay composed, and you know how much pressure's on it, and then you can just like, okay, like we did it, and it was an overtime, so we could tackle each other, and it was done. So
It's always the best part.
I get teary-eyed thinking about it. I always think about the picture of us all hugging each other, crying, and it's just, I don't know. Like, I wish I could go back.
Same.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that replaces that, nothing feels like that.
I can't even describe it. When I'm done playing soccer, I'm never going to have another reason to jump on top of people and pile up in celebration. It feels so good to score for my team because they're all my best friends. This is the most exciting time in my life.
Well, I guess in fitting fashion, it took us 86 minutes to win that one. But Jenny, you saved the day that day. What do you remember about that moment? I think actually, that could have been your guys' last time playing out there.
Yeah, I did not. My whole goal was not to lose our last game on our home field. Like, I was not going to lose at home. We hadn't lost. I couldn't go out that way. I do remember feeling like this is it. Like, I walked up to that and was like, this is it right now. I have to do it, or like it might not happen. It was like one of the first moments I felt that like weight of like, what if we don't do this? And I remember I said a Hail Mary. I remember saying a Hail Mary on that corner waiting. And I remember that ball coming up, and historically, like, that was one of my roles and I hadn't always converted. And I just knew that one was going to be it. So Kristen, I'm sure, played the best ball. I don't remember. I just remember it going in the goal. So that was really, really fun. It's probably one of my favorite memories from the 4 years, for sure.
Rachel, you guys have not lost a game on this field since October of 2007. That's going to be almost 3 years here in a month. What is it about, Clements Field?
I mean, I don't really think that any of us really think about, like, we're at home, we have to win, and I don't even know if people,
I didn't know.
I
didn't even know we hadn't lost in that many years.
But I mean, we get a lot of support here, and like, I think even since our freshman year, since 2007, like, the fan base has grown a lot, and there's not like pressure to perform, but it's like, it's more fun to perform when you know there's all these people out here watching you. But I don't think there's ever any pressure. Yeah. We just don't put pressure on ourselves, and we just have fun, and I think that's what helps a lot.
That field was so important to us and to me that you can correct me, but on one of my husband and I's like first couple dates, I took him to that field. Literally, like, we walked back there after a date, and I was like, this is it. And he's like looking around like a bunch of trees. This is where it happened.
Speaking of trees, though, there is importance, because my dad literally had to be like standing and touching this tree every single game, and we always won. And then they like cut the tree down, and so then he like he literally, I saw him today and said I was doing this, and he's like, oh, still got a piece of that bark in the garage. Like, it's sitting on his workbench. Like, I'm like, is this your lucky bark? Like, he still has it from the stump before they took
bark when we traveled.
Yeah.
To get to the games.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, like, you can thank him.
And I can basically say that I met my husband on that field. We both were soccer players. So at Otterbein. So we met on the field.
Kind of.
I think the coolest part of that field is that it was just enclosed. So we were on this real field that felt so stadium-like, and our fans could just crowd it, and the atmosphere at that field was the funnest atmosphere I ever played in.
Loris, who was ranked number 4 in the country.
Lois.
Ask Brandon who's gonna be the first to do that voice tonight.
Hello. Question. Say hello. Hey. Hey, Noah. What's up? Hey, Noah. Hey, Sarah. Hello. 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 Excuse me, you left Christopher Robin online. Please. Thank you for holding. This is Lois College. Lois speaking. Hi, Lois. This is Christopher Robin. 9-2. Thank you, baby's birthday 6 days later. Have my sister call. Baby's birthday to Lipization.
So are you pumped for the game?
I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped and I'm so pumped. So that means I'm pumped.
What's your thoughts on the game? What are your thoughts on the game? I'm very excited.
Shelby.
Come on, John. Wish the girls luck. Good luck.
Respect is the name of the game. A message brought to you by the NCAA. Due to academic excellence. They are encouraged to engage in all aspects of the collegiate experience while participating.
For the rest of you, what was that like watching her have to leave, knowing you're going to be with her? Actually, I didn't even know at that point if you knew you'd be without her the next day, but playing a man down, what was that, the rest of that like?
Oh, Jenny, I was like freaking out, and Jenny's like, Tara, get it together. It's fine. And I was like pacing back and forth. Jenny's like, calm down.
That's funny because that probably happened after Laura told me that we didn't have time to cry and I needed to get it together. And then I turned around, I'm looking at Tara and she's panicking. I'm like, get it together. So I think first of all, my heart broke for Fish. Like, that's your teammate. That makes me want to cry. But I was so sad for her and I was sad for us, but I just didn't want her to have to leave. And then I was like, we have to do this for her. So it was just such a turnover of emotions so quick. And then I have to turn around and I'll be like, we're going to do this now together. And then we did. It was just a really cool game.
And I don't even think that we were even thinking that she wouldn't be with us for the next game. It was, okay, what are we doing right now? Like, right in this moment, how do we get through this and overcome this?
We advance in penalty kicks, and then obviously, you got to turn around and we get the big anticipated rematch with Denison. Brandon, I guess as a coach, game planning, not only are you going to miss your leading scorer that season, Lindsay led you in scoring all 4 seasons. I guess, I know you talked about a attack by committee that day, but what was it like game planning for that game without Fish?
It's interesting because we had, like Tara Smith talked about a little bit earlier, sometimes we would just move positions around. I would flip her and Adrian around quite a bit, and I think Alyssa Hale started out wide.
Alyssa Hale did. Yeah.
Alyssa stepped it up.
Yeah.
Came out ready to go.
I never remember being nervous about losing a game. I think the fun part to me was you never knew who it was going to be that was going to score, which I think kind of kept other teams on their toes because there wasn't really one person that you could just take out of the game and not have to worry about anybody else. It could come from anyone at any time.
I think initially it was oh my God, what just happened? This is new. And I think, which that sounds rude, but it was we had not been down, and it's at this stage of the game, it's why now? Okay, we have not had to overcome this, so what are we going to do?
I remember Steve looked at me and he goes, Brandon, this will be a really good test for them because they've never been down yet this season. And I was like, wait, are you serious? And then we scored. And I was like, oh, that's a good reaction.
That's kind of what I thought too. As soon as we scored, I was just okay, thank God. Now we can go back to how we normally play. We're not behind. We can just hopefully go win the game. But I just remember turning around and being okay, thank God.
We didn't, like you said, we weren't sure if you're going to be out in the stadium. And then I got you up in a press box with me. and she was so emotional and just she was freaking out that like, I don't know if I don't think I asked you to, but I think she just looked at me. She's like, I better get out of here.
No, you literally were like, you can't be in here.
No way I said you can't be in here, but I was like, you might not want to be in here because there's other people working and I can tell you're already, having a tough time. And I think you stood in the press box and you ended like in a front row of the bleachers or something.
There's literally, when you guys are tackling each other after you blocked I don't know if you blocked the last one or if they missed, or I forget what happened, but you're jumping, Tara's jumping, and I'm in the back like,
yeah.
Yeah. That match obviously went to penalty kicks as well. Tara Carter, you got to play one of the roles of hero, I guess, for the second straight day. Correct me if I'm wrong. Were those the only two, or I guess three matches? Or had you ever been in penalty kicks prior to that weekend in college?
Not at Otterbein, no.
I didn't think so. I mean, we always talk about, you said there's a lot of matches you don't have to do a whole lot. And then in the biggest, matches of the season, I guess both, whatever it was, Loris or Dennison, was there one moment or one, whatever? And I guess how awesome was it to kind of be in, the focal point in those moments?
I was watching the clock, just begging for us to get to 0, because I knew if we could run out the time, we would win. Maybe that was kind of cocky to think or whatever, but I knew we would do it. I'm pretty sure Brandon recruited me because I was good at saving penalties when I was a kid. So it was really cool to be able to finally utilize that. And it didn't really feel like me stepping into the spotlight. Honestly, it just felt like, okay, here's my chance to repay all these women for scoring all those goals and doing all of this work. Like you guys have said, like most of the time I probably could have set up a little lounge chair and read a magazine in some games.
I'm just glad Tara Carter was on our team.
Me too. Yeah, I wanted to say, I mean, it's easy to say Tara didn't have a lot to do, but yeah. Tara led our team from the goal. She never stopped talking. She directed everyone on the field, and she came up with huge saves every game. So I don't want to undermine what her role was in the back of the net, because if we didn't have Tara, we would have never gone as far as we did in any of those seasons. So
after that you guys were all celebrating, I was all pissed off because the internet there wasn't working and I couldn't get the website updated. And then I get to the bus, and then my frustration quickly turned to laughter because I'm pretty sure that's when you guys were making fun of Beatty placing a Papa John's.
Yeah.
Brandon,
extra pepperoni.
Yeah.
Brandon, if you got that video, you drop it over this where we're talking right now in this clip right here.
This one is what? No! No, thank you. No, Papa John is going to be so mad. I do not want those pepperonis. They were supposed to have sausage links.
Can't see him anymore.
No, they were supposed to have bacon. You're only a day away. 2 weeks till San Antonio. Tomorrow.
I guess talk about that balance. You get to go to San Antonio now. There's all this extracurricular stuff and banquets and this and that. But you still had, another soccer game to play. I guess, what was that balance of enjoying it but remaining competitive?
I don't know. Just I think every time we won a game, we're like, okay, we get more time. Like we just always would be so excited just to get more time. I definitely think we never took that for granted, for sure.
We know what we want. We have 8 seniors and we all play, so that's especially, we don't want this to be our last game, so that's probably a good motivation.
We have probably the best chemistry that any team could have. Every single one of us gets along so well on and off the field, and I think that definitely affects the way that we play together, so it definitely helps.
I felt like the Final Four matchup with Hardin Simmons was like a storybook or like a movie script, like the best defense in the country against the best offense in the country. They had scored over 100 goals on the season, and you had allowed 4. I guess maybe Hannah, we'll start with you. What's it like preparing for a team like that?
I mean, I feel like it was just exciting to be there, and we had so much confidence and had overcome so much already that, excuse me, I don't think their record really was weighing on me as much as just like getting to the final destination of where we wanted to be. And we had already had to overcome Messiah the year before and had that pressure. And even though we didn't, we still played our hearts out. So I had no doubt that we were going to play the best that we could play and that everyone on our team was going to do what they needed to do to get to where we wanted to be. So really it was just a lot of regular excite and Like Tara was saying, just getting that chance to keep playing, knowing that it could be our last game as seniors, and trying to make sure it wasn't. So
just leaning on everybody and knowing that everybody else is going through the same thing I am, was definitely, we had each other,
Did any of you feel like, do you remember any of you being nervous during the game or feeling anxious? Did you really?
That was one of the first games that I, like, in the first 15 minutes, I was like, oh, they're good. Like, this could be really fun, or this could be, like, the hardest game we have ever played. And I remember Rachel running the sideline more than she had ever run, probably an entire game. And she was known for being able to run forever, but I was like, she's going to get tired. And then I remember they threw something at us we really hadn't seen before. Because they were getting behind us, and we weren't used to that. I was like, I don't remember a lot. You guys know my memory, but I distinctly remember them getting behind our line, and me and Hannah looking at each other like, what are we gonna do? And I remember talking in the first half, like it was probably a little over halfway through the first half, and I looked at her and I was like, we just have to get to halftime so we can talk about it and figure it out. Like, whatever you need to do to just stop the ball, that's all we can do right now. We were all pretty good at like troubleshooting in the middle of a game. Like, you need to step this way or get her. And it came to the point where it was like, just try to keep the ball in front of us and we'll figure it out at halftime. So I remember feeling a lot more confident the second half after we all got to get together and like ground ourselves a little bit to feel more confident to attack a little bit. And I think we were able to do that.
I also remember that field feeling huge.
Yeah.
I don't know why, if it really was, or if like maybe that was just the way we were playing and it felt bigger. I don't know. I just remember it feeling like huge.
And I distinctly remember just going back to Jenny, them getting behind us. I remember distinctly one play where it got behind me, and I remember busting my butt to get back because I was like, there is no way this girl is going to score and we're going to lose this game because of me. And I think that probably goes back to Fish, like why we were so tired, because we all probably had that mentality. Like, we felt like we had to be perfect for each other. Like, we're not going to lose this game because of something that I did. Or
I just remember thinking that I was every tackle and every ball, I was like, this matters and I can't let anyone down. And I just remember like going into a tackle with her and I'm like, I can't back down. I can't shy away from anything because everything matters in this game. And I actually came off the field at one point. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I just started bawling in Joan's arms, the trainer, because I was just exhausted and I had hurt my knee a little bit and I was just tired, and I just like hit that point. I just needed to cry for a little bit. And she's like, do you need to come out? Are you done? I was like, nope, I'm okay. And I don't remember if it was halftime or when it was, but I know Joan gave me a hug and I got back out there.
Who remembers the first moment after the last PK went in where you realized the season was over?
That's going to make me cry.
yeah.
I remember it was just over then. It was just like everything we had worked for was just like.
And I don't think we were sad about like us not playing well. It was more just like that it was over.
Yeah.
Like, we would never step on the field together again. It wasn't like, oh, we're so disappointed in how we played or how it went. It was just like, I am happy, but I'm also sad. Like, I'm so proud of us. I just felt so like crippling like sadness that I could never do that again. Like, I don't know. But I mean, obviously I was so proud at the same time. It's like such a battle in your mind.
And I did not want to go to the sidelines and see our parents because I knew they were in worse shape than we were.
And it was one of those things where it's like it's not like we played bad and lost. It was just we came out on the wrong side of penalty kicks, which I think makes it more traumatic, I guess.
Frustrating.
Yeah, frustrating.
You're playing against such a good team and with an offense that has the stats that they did. It was like, all right, we held them, and then we're losing in penalty kicks. So upsetting that was it. And it's like, all right, now, like, here comes real life. This, like, it's just that shock of it was just, I think, the hardest part.
And it's not just even playing, it's the memories, it's the bus rides, it's the jokes, it's the talking on the microphone on the bus, it's the silliness, it's the all that stuff. Like it's soccer, but it's us, you know, it's the camaraderie of it all.
Steve, can you bust out in 3, 2, 1, bust.
One, two, three. Let's do.
Nobody had heard of Otterbein College. People now know about Otterbein College. So over the last
on the map.
15 years, because of basketball, football, soccer, especially soccer. Yeah, so this is great.
Laura, you better win your game because I quit my job to be here. Okay? So win!
Have fun. Win. Good luck. Have a good time.
We're proud of you. Go Cards. We're real proud of you. Hey. Go Cards. Go Go Fish. Everything. We love you. Go honey. Go honey. Go honey. Play hard. Here, go Cards. Go Cards. What's going on?
Like we said, this has been, really appreciate everyone joining us. I know everyone's got busy lives and different time zones and different schedules, but it's really good to see everyone. Take care of yourselves, and hopefully see you back on campus soon.
This was fun. We didn't cuss too much, and we didn't drink too much, and we didn't
cry as much as I thought.
Yeah, right.
We kept it together.
I don't know. Tara started us off pretty good with a couple of bull in there, but then we kind of since then.
It was bull.
It's so good to see all of you.
Red wine. Everybody has red wine.
Yeah.
Look at that. Cheers, my friend. Oh my gosh, we really do. Look at that.
So I think
I think I got concussed that night playing Ultimate Ping Pong. Like literally.
What's new?
You fall or?
Well.
So knowing what it's given to me and the friendships I've made and all of that good stuff, it's really rewarding to watch another group of people get to experience that and get to grow in that way. And it makes me really proud to be a part of the program.
I couldn't wait to play the game. Like, I could have fast forwarded through all of that and just gotten straight to the game and walked on the field, and it was like a feeling like no other. Although it took Rachel and I a little bit of time to get out of the locker room because for some reason we sobbed like someone had just passed away, but we were just about to go play. It was just like a surreal moment, and one I'll never forget.